ministry. It will be short-lived, but today, this day, we rejoice. So let's do it together. Stretch your neck if you need to. We are going to repeat after me for just a minute. Take a deep breath. Hosanna. Hosanna. That was pitiful. Okay. I'm glad Jesus is not on a call with you right now. Okay. Hosanna. 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 Blessed is he. Blessed is he. Who comes in the name of the Lord. Who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna. Hosanna. Okay, that was good. Okay. What a great day this is in Jerusalem. Palms are waving, and I appreciate the palms that we have, but we're talking palm leaves are waving. People are rejoicing. Today is the culmination of all the momentum that has been building in the last 3.5 years. Not 3.5 weeks. 3.5 years. This is it. Up to this point, Jesus has been a teacher and a healer. That has been extraordinary enough. But this moment eclipses all of that. This is the moment Jesus becomes king of the people. This is the fulfillment of the prophecy. He is officially establishing an earthly kingdom. His followers have raised him to the level of king, and he has become the embodiment of the Messiah. This is not just a day of glory for Jesus. This is a day of glory for Jesus' followers. The sacrifices they have made to follow along with him and hang on his every word have paid off. Sleeping anywhere they can find a spot, eating whatever is available, and not eating when nothing is available. Going without proper hygiene, dragging their children along through difficulties, letting people gossip about them and say that they are crazy. All of it is worth it in this moment. This day, the man they have supported has just entered Jerusalem as king. They are vindicated. Let the neighbors say they're crazy. Who cares? Jesus is king. They're with Jesus. He is the Messiah. They were right. They were right to walk away from everything. They were faithful through his ministry, and now they will share his reign as king. So, Jesus, now that you've won the hearts of the people, robbed the religious leaders of their authority, and ridden into the most important city in the Jewish nation as king, what are you going to do next? It's not Disneyland. He goes straight to the temple. The first thing Jesus does is go directly to the temple and clean house. And by clean house, I mean that he goes after the entire Jewish system and confronts it. He stands in the open courtyard where people who have come for Passover are buying animals to make sacrifice, and he takes on not one religious leader, not one practice of the temple. He takes on the entire system. One by one, he will undermine many of the practices that have become part of Jewish life in that day, and he will repeatedly undermine the Jewish authorities. And he starts, I don't know why I put that paper over there, I need it back here. And he starts with the sacrifices that have become nothing more than a money-making venture. It's Passover. And Jews from all over are heading into Jerusalem so they can worship and make sacrifices at the temple. It's much easier to purchase animals for sacrifice in Jerusalem than to travel with live animals. So, smarmy businessmen have found an opportunity, and they are in their element. Selling animals to traveling Jews to make a sacrifice at the temple is equivalent to a novelty salesperson trying to sell beads at Mardi Gras. It's a pretty easy sell. So the markup on these animals is extraordinary, and the quality of the animals is minimal. This, of course, punishes the poor and makes it more difficult for them to participate in every aspect of Jewish life. Making a sacrifice obviously costs the animal something. It was supposed to cost the human something as well, and it was supposed to be more than money. They were supposed to be giving their best. Now the act of sacrificing animals has become an early version of bad mass-productive farming. The animals were not treated well. They were raised as cheaply as possible and sold for as high of a profit as possible so that the farmer can create the highest profit margin possible. It turns out that according to God's instructions, it wasn't even necessary to make animal sacrifices on a regular basis. There were other ways for people to attain redemption. However, as we've been discussing, the law had been twisted and manipulated, and everyone was being required to find a way to come up with the financial resources to purchase an animal sacrifice. The person was going to bring an animal sacrifice. As I said, there's other ways to achieve redemption. But if they chose to bring an animal sacrifice, it was expected that they would choose their best animal because the owner had something invested in it. And it was actually giving of themselves to give up this animal. If it was the best the person owned, then most likely that animal had been treated well all of its life. The sacrifice itself, the act of the sacrifice, was actually a humane killing that is the same way we slaughter most animals for food today. And while some would call any animal killing cruel, the original intent of the sacrifice as a way of atonement was never intended to be cruel to the animal or to make the animal live an entire life of cruelty. However, as the religious authorities of that day became more and more of an oppressive business venture than a religious freedom, animals were being treated inhumanely their entire lives, and the poorest people were being pressured to give what little money they had in order to purchase these pitiful creatures. This is what God's law had morphed into. Then Jesus shows up, and he speaks power to truth. I'm going to try that again. He speaks truth to power. He spoke power to truth too. Okay, but he speaks truth to power, and this is happening at a time when the regular person feels that they have no voice. There is the voice of the people in this man. Here he is, showing up, speaking common sense to religious authorities about God and how the people relate to God. He calls out the religious leaders for the profit-making business they have turned God's precious temple into. Jesus has so many followers that although this wins him no friends with the authorities, they are too scared to arrest him. They know that if they arrest this man during Passover, with the city of Jerusalem packed and Rome watching them like hawks, that they run the risk of losing their autonomy as a religious group, and they could cause Roman rule to take over their own religion. If this happens, they lose their freedom to practice their religion, but the religious authorities lose their power, and they don't want that, so they wait. Jesus goes into his second phase of cleaning out the temple. He begins teaching again. He is being treated as king, but he knows the power is not in the crowd, the power is in the message. He always goes back to teaching. At this point, the tensions in Jerusalem are running very high. It is Jesus and his followers versus the Pharisees and the Sadducees. While Jesus is teaching, the Pharisees and Sadducees are plotting. As far as they are concerned, this has become a game of high-stakes chess. Jesus begins telling his followers, the great crowd of him, that one day he will return. He tells them about the signs of the end, and none of it sounds good. He tells of war, earthquakes, disease, pestilence, shaking of the heavenly bodies. The events he speaks of are worrying, but once again, he turns the whole thing on its head. He tells them that when they see these things happening, they should not be afraid. They should lift their heads and they should rejoice because their redemption is near. Once again, telling them that this life is not the end of everything. There is more life after this world. The Pharisees and the Sadducees begin to try to trap Jesus. They question him at the temple. They question his authority, and they question him about the theology of this afterlife he keeps talking about. You see, Jews didn't believe in afterlife. They didn't teach that at that time. And Jesus was teaching that life continues after death, and they were trying to prove that this was blasphemy. Each time they came to him, he answered with just a practical application of the scriptures. He not only causes them embarrassment, but after he answers their question without being trapped, he always warns those listening that these religious leaders are doomed. He says that they are liars and they are a viper of snakes. Yet because of the amount of followers he has, they simply cannot arrest him without causing a riot and bringing the wrath of Rome down on all of them. So they try a different approach. They find people who are willing to spy on Jesus. These people have been recruited by the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and they are the original undercover agents. They pretend to be sincere disciples of Jesus, but they report back every single thing he says, so they can try to trap him, because his understanding of the law is so detailed. They're not able to trap him with his theology. So the Pharisees and the Sadducees have the spies try to trap him with Roman law. If they can get him to say something against Caesar or against Roman law, then they can turn him over to the Roman authorities, and you can be certain that they will handle Jesus without compassion. So they question him about paying their taxes. Unfortunately for the Pharisees and the Sadducees, this tactic doesn't work either. They are growing more and more frustrated with this Jesus and the power of his message. The bigger his crowd of followers gets, the more unlikely it is that they'll ever be able to arrest him. So the Sadducees try one more angle. They make it known to the disciples that they are looking for a way in. Anyone who is willing to hand over Jesus. Anybody? Judas. He goes to them and he asks, what will you give me if I hand him over? They offer him 30 pieces of silver. Not a whole lot. We have no idea what Judas was thinking. Some actually believe that Judas was doing this at Jesus' request to bring about the fulfillment of prophecy. Some believe that the betrayal was not just a prophecy fulfilled, but a true betrayal of friendship as well. We don't know. We can guess. We don't know. All we know is that Judas was the disciple in charge of holding the money, and he is the one who is willing to accommodate the Sadducees for a price. This whirlwind of events over the course of just a few days brings us to the day of Passover. The last time Jesus will sit with his disciples and teach them one last time. It's always about the teaching. There is a desperateness, there is an agitation, there is an energy. He always goes back to the teaching, trying to make sure they get it before he goes. We will gather on Thursday, and we will celebrate that moment. We will celebrate communion. We will consider what it is to be a person who knows the day of their death is coming, knows what they're facing, and knows it's not going to be pretty. We will participate in communion, celebrating the Last Supper, and we will leave the seat open for Jesus to be among us. Hopefully we'll see you back here Thursday as we celebrate that time. Amen.